So I've actually wanted to make this video for a while now, but I wanted to make sure that I have a pretty good grasp on Starrail before doing so. So with that in mind, let me ask you a question. Have you played Honkai Starrail? I certainly have been, and it's part of the reason why I had a week where I had no video upload. The game is very absorbing. So I've been playing this game pretty religiously since its release about a month ago, and I've been enjoying it quite a bit. I noticed that the game had a lot in common with Genshin Impact. A similar energy system to Genshin's Resin, farming materials and bosses to level up and upgrade characters, the huge storylines and grandiose boss fights, and even the wishing system is pretty much one-to-one. That being said, there are a lot of things that are actually different beyond the obvious stuff like the gameplay style. And it got me thinking, would Genshin be better with some of the changes to Genshin systems that are in Starrail? I know that's something of a broad question, so let me narrow down what I mean. So let's get right to the elephant in the room. The reward structure of both games. Right off the hop, in the early stages of Honkai Starrail, we have been given a pretty decent amount of extra rewards and Stellar Jade, which is of course Starrail's Primogems, for getting new characters when compared to Genshin's, including multiple 10 pulls via login rewards, and even the events give more Primogems. Heck, March 7th is basically a living, breathing Primogem, so anyway. Point is, would Genshin events feel better if they gave, say, 600 Primogems like Honkai's does, instead of the 420 that we already get? I mean, obviously, more Primogems is better, right? But would it be a meaningful change after all this time? Personally, I think any upgrade to the standard reward structure would be pretty great, and I'm pretty sure that most people would agree with me on that. Next up is a huge innovation in my eyes, and that's this item right here. What it does is allow you to choose the main stat when crafting an artifact, allowing you to really zero in on that perfect piece you've always wanted. In fact, the artifact crafting in Starrail is leagues better than Genshin right out of the gate, in my opinion. The Strom box having a limited selection of potential artifacts and all of them being random is a real nightmare for those of us who still don't even have a half-decent Gladiator's Hourglass even. But with this system, using this special item, we're not only able to not just choose the artifact set, we can choose the specific piece of that set and choose the main stat on it. That's amazing. Even without that though, just being able to target the piece that you want with each roll is pretty great. It does come with a pretty noticeable downside, that being that it requires at least 10 5-star artifacts to do one of these rolls. That being said, the item that is used to do these rolls can be gained from other sources, such as the Battle Pass, or even events, which I think is pretty cool. I'm personally okay with paying more artifacts to focus on a specific piece that I want. Before moving on to what I would think is the greatest addition that Genshin could take from Starrail, I wanted to just talk about some of the little things, the little quality of life differences that really jumped out at me. For example, in Starrail, you can actually refine a weapon multiple times at once if you have the required items. You can even automatically add them at the same time with the press of a single button. Another thing of note is that you can claim your daily rewards and quests right from your menu. Same thing goes with your expeditions. It's all just very convenient. Another one worth mentioning, and a fairly big one, is that you're able to buy 5-star weapons from the shop if you summon enough, meaning over time you'll be able to accumulate the required materials to make your own 5-star weapons. Whales of course will get these benefits right away, but even the free-to-play players will eventually find themselves at a point where they can purchase a 5-star weapon for themselves. Anyway, the last thing from Starrail that I would love to see show up in Genshin is the simulated universe. This roguelike mode is an absolute blast to play. I find myself wanting to do runs even after all the weekly rewards have been claimed. Starting with a basic team, then evolving it to suit your needs with extra party members, upgrade cards that you get after each battle, which can also heavily change your strategy. It's a lot of fun and actually has a little bit of forethought put into it when you're playing through a run. The mode is highly replayable, and not just for the weekly rewards, which is of course a welcome addition too. It is an alternate way to farm for certain resources, test out teams, and is a good way to just enjoy the battle mechanics that the game has to offer. In short, if Hoyoverse ever thought of adding a permanent new game mode to Genshin Impact, this is what I would want. A roguelike challenge dungeon that changes and evolves each time that you do it. The extra rewards that it could bring to the player would just be icing on the cake, and would probably make a lot of players really happy. Anyway, these are all just my opinions, but I would love to hear yours on the topic too. Something that I have often heard is that Genshin Impact was just the beta for Starrail, and I think there's some truth in that. They've taken what worked well in Genshin, improved and evolved it, and just hope that they may continue to do so by adding new features that really work and try to apply them back to Genshin. I know that Genshin and Starrail are very different games, but they do share a lot of similarities too, right? Why not take what works in Starrail and see if they can use it elsewhere? So please comment down below if there's anything from Starrail, or any other game that you can think of that would be a welcome addition to Genshin's gameplay. And of course, if you like what I'm doing and you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Anyway, that's all from me. Cheers.